All right, so I was talking about Fibonacci retracements and how to get them set up and what they're used for, right? So if we zoom in to like back in the day, this is LDSR, but so you zoom in and there's not much to go off of as far as support and resistance levels, like it's kind of flat or whatever. But so what you can do is you come up here to the drawing tools, click on it, go to drawing tools, you come down to this percentage, right? Click on that, gives you a little pencil thing. And you click on the low, so say this is the low. I mean, you could even use this right here, but so let's use this area right here. It's a little more relevant. And you draw it, you gotta always go from the left to the right. Oh, no, right to left. Okay, so come here, take the high, click, it'll say 100%. Then you scroll down here and to the low, and click, and then it draws all these lines, and it'll show you this kind of like dotted line right here. That's just kind of showing you the slope that it's going off of. And as you can see, there's 0%, 61%, 100%. So yours is going to be different. So show all these other lines. So what you do is you come in here, right click, edit properties, and this is what you needed to look for. So left extension is off. That's basically going from here out. You don't really need that because you're looking in the future. You don't care what happened in the past. Right extension on, that means it goes all the way over to the right, which is nice because it keeps the numbers out of your way. And then show price, you can change that. You can show it on the left, show it on the right, or not show it at all. I put it on the right because I like to have it there. And then this shows the value, so you can fine tune it. If you want to fine tune the low and the high, you can do that. And it'll tell you the date and time or whatever. And then for these, you can actually change the colors of each line. I just put them all as white. And then the width, I always have 0% and 100%, the thicker, just because it's easier to see them that way. And then so first off, Fibonacci, right? He's basically mathematician from back in the day, and he basically figured out that if you add two numbers together and you get you'll get a third number. So his Fibonacci sequence is basically take the first two numbers, add them together, get the third number. Take the second and third number, add them together to get the fourth number, and so on. So it'd be like 1, 1, 2. 1 plus 2 is 3, then 2 plus 3 is 5, and 5 plus 3 is 8, and you get like this ratio, right? And basically you can graph it, and it basically comes out to like this, what they call a golden spiral, which is kind of like if you look at a seashell and how it's like a perfect fucking spiral going out, and it get the thickness of each spiral gets bigger, right? His numbers in this kind of equation has been used in like all sorts of different stuff. You probably heard in school, like the golden ratios and the golden rule, the golden number, and all that kind of stuff. How it helps us in trading. So in trading, we call it the Fibonacci retracement. So basically it takes the high and the low and then takes the Fibonacci sequence numbers and draws these other lines. There's other lines in between these lines. I get rid of them. So you can remove, you can add and remove select colors, whatnot. And then like this is that dashed like slope line. And once you're done setting it up, you hit OK. And that's basically what you see. How does this help us, right? Well, these are support resistance lines. So if you look here, how would this would help me here, because as this was coming up, you can see how it bounced off here and went back down. And then when it broke through here, it came up, and then now that resistance line is now a support line, right? So now it's bouncing off of there. Now, if we were to go to some other stock, so let's look at, I don't know, let's look at Andy. I have all these lines here, right? Well, if I do the same thing, well, oops. I go from the high down to the low. right? You can see it almost like perfectly matches, right? So if I zoom in, I mean, the lines are near perfect on there, right? These Fibonacci lines are probably better than my lines, but and you can adjust them too, right? And I bet you if I zoomed in and I adjusted the Fibonacci, it would have been even better. But as you can see, my first line that I drew here on Andy matches up. This other line right here matches up. This line, look at this line, shows right here where it bounced here, right? So that line works. And then the 60%, 62% line also works. So we got it traded right across on that line. So this is another tool besides the other tools that can help you. And it's really easy. You don't have to sit there and do the drawing tools and draw one line and then look for this, look for another like double bottom to draw another line. And it's really easy. You just go from the high to the low, boom, you're done. I'm going to get rid of it on this one just because I already have them drawn. Oops. Oops, it thought I was looking at my other one. Okay. So that's basically the Fibonacci line, and why it works basically is because this is what all the big Wall Street guys use. And so when they see it coming up to, let's say, a 50% line, they're thinking it's going to bounce off and come back down to the 20% line. So they're going to use that to make their trades. And because they all use that, it actually makes the Fibonacci retracements a true thing that you can use. If nobody used it, then it wouldn't probably work. But since everybody uses it, it actually works out perfectly. The other thing is they talk about when it typically breaks through one of the lines. So let's go back to LDSR. I'll zoom in here. I typically say that when it breaks through a line, it goes up to the next line. And it breaks through that line, it's going to go to the next line. It breaks through that line, it's going to go to the next line. So that's why we only have 5 lines, right? You got 0, 100%, and you got 3 in the middle. So this one's 50, this one's 60. I'm not really sure why these numbers aren't coming up on this, but so as you can see, if it breaks through the 61%, there's no other lines in between. It's going to go up to the 100%. So this is how they kind of use it, just like you would use normal support and resistance. But it's a more widely used, like just drawing a support and resistance line is kind of like basics. The Fibonacci retracement is kind of like a little bit more advanced. So this is what basically is going to help you out, is they're going to show you what's the next resistance line other than something you drew. Now you can still draw your lines in and go off those too. So you can use both, and it just gets a little cluttered sometimes. But so anyways, that's the Fibonacci retracement. You can learn more about all his golden ratios and all that stuff on your own time, and also on Investor Hub has a little article about it too. And they kind of touch a little bit on how to use it, but it's another easy, quick way to draw your lines in and see where it could possibly trend up to the next line, and when it's breaking through, or if it's going to bounce off. And like you see here, it comes up, and then now it's coming back down. Most likely it's going to bounce off this and keep going up. And then if I want to, I can zoom out here. And now that I have a new high, I can redraw, right? So I can redo the drawing, and then I can redo it. So I can come in here to the high, click on that, and come back down here to, I'll probably move it over here, make it a little bit better. So now I have a new new sequence. Okay, they popped up this time. So now I have a new high, new low. And now if I zoom in, I can see how it still works, right? So before this was 100% line, but now because I redrew it 6% line, it still holds true. It came up, bounced off the 100%, and it's now here. So now I have my new Fibonacci drawn, and it's still working, right? It's still showing the same thing, but now the numbers have moved, and that should help me out for the future. And so what I can tell now is that we're above the yellow cloud. I need to change one back to green, but there's no wall, there's no resistance between here and 100%. So I would expect that this will go from 179 back up to like 26 area. and then hopefully it breaks through and keeps going, and then maybe I have to redraw these. So, but that's that. If you have any more questions, I can make more videos. Also, I linked Utopia Trading's Discord chat group in the description, and then if you want to come over and check us out, you can. If not, that's cool too. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day and good luck on the trading.